Government in Washington is dysfunctional because it's become the Roach Motel. People go in, but they never come out. That serving the public should be a temporary duty, not a lucrative career with generous pensions and paychecks that aren't available to the very people who pay for them.
With humor and a heartfelt admonition, Mike Huckabee becomes the latest Republican to announce his candidacy for president. Of course, a trio of candidates announced this week: Carly Fiorina, Ben Carson, and the aforementioned Governor Huckabee. And there's some good news for Huck out today. A new Rasmussen poll gives the former Arkansas governor the nod to win the nomination over Dr. Carson and Ms. Fiorina. Of likely Republican voters polled, 48% believe Huckabee has the best chance to win the nomination. For more on the presidential sweepstakes, let's bring in a man who knows something about the presidency, Michael Reagan, political commentator, Newsmax blogger, and someone you can follow on Twitter at Reagan World. Mike, it's good to have you here on Newsmax Prime.
Good to be with you.
Now, this poll, for some reason, only matched Huckabee up against Dr. Carson and Ms. Fiorina. How do you think Governor Huckabee would do against Cruz, Rubio, and Paul?
Well, first of all, if you look at this and you see it the way it is with Huckabee winning the nomination, he now has his Surgeon General and Secretary of Labor going in with him to the White House when he takes over in 2017. But I will tell you this. You've got a lot of great candidates in this race. I think that's good for the Republican Party, but what the conservatives have to do is find out which horse they're actually going to ride all the way to the finish line. And if their horse fails to make it to the finish line, they've got to find another horse to get on, not just go home, if indeed we want to win the election in 2016.
It is interesting, Michael. On other occasions, you and I have spoken about Hillary Clinton and her candidacy, and now some polling in New Hampshire seems to be bringing true what you were talking about. Hillary Clinton now behind Rand Paul, 47% to 41%, behind Jeb Bush by that same margin, and just 1 percentage point closer to Marco Rubio. All three of those Republicans would beat Hillary in the Granite State right now. You maintain Hillary is going to be a weak candidate. Has anything changed your mind on that?
No, nothing has changed my mind at all. You know, I told you before, JD, that in California, because I can, I will vote for her because I want her to win the nomination of the Democrat Party. I think any one of our possible candidates can beat Hillary Clinton in a general election because all of our candidates, the one thing our candidates have that she has never had is likability. And now, of course, with the statements from the former President Bill Clinton and statements she's made before about being broke, about his statements, somebody's got to pay the bills, is they've got to be relatable. And we have candidates that are relatable to the public, and the Democrat candidate, the would-be candidate, is not relatable at all.
Well, there was a great candidate in 1980 and again in 1984, and we would be remiss, Michael, if we did not mention this. Recently, MRC TV went to various college campuses and put up a picture of your dad, President Ronald Reagan, and asked students to identify him. Look and listen to the reaction of these students.
Cowboy hat, I'll say John Wayne, but I have no idea.
John Wayne?
Okay.
I don't know.
Never seen him before?
He looks like a country singer. I'm not a country fan.
They had that great picture of your dad with his cowboy hat on that Reagan country poster that so many of us remember from 1980. The notion that millennials don't know Ronald Reagan. What's your take on that?
Millennials don't know how to carry on a conversation across the dinner table unless they're on their smartphone. which is a real problem for the world that we live in today. I'm not surprised by that, though. There's no education about the history of our country. Listen, I played golf with a young man a couple of years ago, 28 years old. I was headed to Normandy, as I'm going to be in Normandy in a couple of weeks, and I was telling him I was going to raise the flag at the American cemetery at Normandy, and he didn't know why there was an American cemetery at Normandy. I was with a young man in 2007 in Berlin, and I asked him what he knew about the Berlin Wall. He said, well, the Americans put it up to keep the communists out of their sector. We have done a lousy job, whether it's in the school system or outside the school system, of really educating the youth and the world on the greatness of America and the greatness of our presidents. I doubt if they recognize John F. Kennedy either.
Well, Michael Reagan, we appreciate what you have to say, and it looks like there needs to be a better job done in the classroom and elsewhere. If you want to reach out to our friend Michael Reagan, you can do so on Twitter. His handle is @ReaganWorld. And Newsmax Prime will continue here on Newsmax TV right after this.